I'll start with a quick review for this book, The Ride of a Lifetime. I was debating between 3 to a 4. It definitely deserves a high 3, which is from 1 to 5, but there is a high 3 and low 3. Because there is some good information there, but some of the stories were not as interesting. The timeline was a little obscure, or I lost track a few times. And there were a lot of names that I lost track of them as well. Didn't do a good job of who's who. There's a lot of names coming up. But overall, it was interesting to get into see the life of a Disney or a Fortune 500 company, blue chip company, CEO lives, and the decisions and all the whatever they going through. Decisions, the hard and good of being a CEO. Let's see the notes. Growing up, he used to read many books in the newspaper. He liked always reading books in the newspaper, and he claimed that he learned a lot from it. It's important to take responsibility when we fail. Often we don't like to do it, but it's important to take the responsibility. Good enough is not enough. When something is good enough, we say, it's good enough. It's not enough. He was taking opportunities that he wasn't sure how to handle. He took some roles. He was no idea how to do or how to handle them, but he took it anyway, and he succeeded. Buying a company often comes with friction. Disney was often authoritative and demanding. There's a lot of friction when buying a new company. There's different cultures, different views. Disney way was authoritative before he came, at least, and demanding. There is always some tension between number 1 and number 2. Ultimately, you would want to nourish number 2, that one day they will be able to take number 1. So number 1 and number 2, there's always the friction, because ultimately number 2 is a competition. So he said that the perfect way is to nourish number 2, so one day they will be able to take it over, regardless of the friction. Micromanaging is understated, but should be used wisely. He said that micromanaging is important. He has one of the guy was one of his previous mentors, I think, was all in for micromanaging. But he said that ultimately, or ideally, micromanaging doesn't deserve enough. It deserves more rap, but it should be used wisely, because not in all cases it's good or worth the time. No one wants to follow a pessimist, so we have to be optimists, because if you're a pessimist, no one would want to follow you. He hired political consultant to sway board voters and shape his message. I think I misspelled board members. The message has to be clear. That's why he hired the consultant, because it's similar to a political rally or a political campaign, that the message has to be clear, and you'll have to learn how to sway the votes to your favor. It's important to stay calm even when everything is pessimistic and against you, while not lashing out at people, because when everything is going bad, it looks pessimistic, the future looks grim, it's important to stay calm and not lash out at people, because we tend to do that. But we have to see behind it, look to the future, and see that this is not everything. Approaching people with respect and dignity can go a long way. You have to treat people fairly, especially in negotiations, and it can go a long way. When firing someone, it's important to be honest. He used to avoid small talk and start by, I called you here for a difficult reason. Because it is difficult always, there is no way around it. But he said that instead of going around and around it, he used to say it right. Start with the reason and not trying to go around and please them before telling them some good news before the bad news and trying to like make them feel better before telling them the bad news. He just told them that clearly. It's easy for people in top management to get comfortable and be dismissive of new ideas. When you get comfortable, you think you're the king or whatever, you think you're the smartest, and we tend to be dismissive of new ideas. We said it's important to not be that person when you're higher up. Innovative or die. It's one of it. If you don't innovate, you will die. You have to innovate constantly. Take responsibility for your failures. It's one of the main. He has it like at the end, which I like that. He had like a summary of things that he learned and he thinks are important. One of them is take responsibility for your failures. It's a very important thing, and people mostly are, even when you did something wrong, they will be appreciative of you being honest and take responsibility. So that's for the notes. It was an interesting inside look, I would say, on a CEO, but there's always some places for improvement. I'll give it a high 3. Thank you.